Hi, Jonathan here, and today, as I said I was going to do, we're going to do a bit more of a deep dive over the last month and the last 2 months about what those numbers are looking like now, because we've now completed 2 months of this 12-month journey, so we need to check in and see where we're at, and also start to map out what we're going to do for the month ahead. So yeah, it's Monday the 3rd of November, which means it's day 64 on our journey. So before we get into the details and the numbers, what I'm going to do is just have a quick recap on where we are. So yesterday came in at 951, not bad at all. And what that in terms of ad spend, so obviously we've got the my second funnel running now, so I'm trying to just make sure I incorporate these numbers in, which means obviously my ad spend's going up by about £48 every day, and so I think in excuse me, in the short term I think it's going to be a little bit painful because that funnel is not making a profit yet, so it's causing a bit of a drag on the main campaign, but that's what we need to do if we want to make progress. So our ad spend across both of them ends up being about $430, which is about $564, and so we ended up with a profit of $387. I say probably it would have been higher had I not got this second funnel running, but that's what we do. We try and do. We'll have to take a little bit of a step back to hopefully drive forwards. And today we're at 291. We're at 2:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, that's not that good. So we'll fingers crossed we'll see some progress over the course of the time. But as ever, we have to take the ups with the downs. So and that's what this is all about. So this is the opportunity, I say, to have a look at the bigger picture. So what I wanted to do is give you really an overview of numbers, a quick look at what are the optimization things that I've done over the course of the last month, how are numbers stacking up October versus September, and really based on that, what am I looking to do in the month ahead. Okay, so what we've got, and I've done this back at the end of first month, is put together this dashboard, if you like. So this is here to try and just give me that bigger picture view on what's going on, and really it's more a question of just looking at the trends of things, whether certain things are going up or down, as to whether I should be looking at a specific aspect of the funnel or how it's all working. So what we've got here, starting in this top corner, this is obviously my targets for this journey was 240,000 in sales and 120,000 in profit. So this is tracking the sales to date. So this is over the last 2 months. We've clocked up $47,000 just over in sales. This is how much we've got left to go to hit the my sales target, so that'll just slowly work its way down, and hopefully hit all the way down to zero. It shows we made our target. This is percentage to target, so this is how far I am on that journey as a percentage. And this for me, it's just the way different people like to look at the numbers in different ways. I like to get the sense of actually what percentage are we on this journey. So we're 2 months in, but almost 20% along the way. So that's it's given us a good indication that in terms of sales, actually we're nicely ahead of target already. But because obviously over 2 months you would have expected our percentage to be about 16%, something like that. So we're a bit ahead of that target. Our profit to date over the 2 months is 18,766, which is obviously good. And this is our profit left. What we need to earn in profit to get this one down to zero as well. and how far we are on the journey. So we're just under 16%. So we're just on the cusp of being on target there, maybe a little bit behind. So, that's just as a top view. It gives me that snapshot of going, okay, how do I feel about these things? Do I feel I'm in a good place overall? So before I went through the September figures, and we tracked it at halfway through the month and the second half. So these are 2-week views, so I can see what happened in those different months. And then obviously I looked at what were the experiments and split tests that we've run in the month. So this really tries to capture everything I need to look at on an ongoing basis. I say based on our real core metrics and things that we look at, which is this CPA, cost of a customer acquisition, AOV, this is the average order value, and LTV, it's the lifetime value. So always we're trying to reduce that cost of customer acquisition, but increase the average order value and increase the lifetime value. So if we look at October, the month was very sort of evenly split really between the first and the second half in terms of customers. We did see ad spend go up quite a bit in the second part of the month, and that's primarily before this second funnel even kicked in. We found out some of our ad costs went up, but I did tweak the ad budget up as well, so I increased that spend. And obviously it did increase the sales some, but not by as much as possible. We can see actually our front-end profit dropped in the second half despite the increased ad spend. So that's when that sort of ratio is not working so well. You see it cost more to acquire a customer. And I think that's partly because of the ads traffic and where that was going. Stuff that's outside of your control. You can't control all these numbers. We can look at them and measure them and understand them. We can't necessarily always control them. But all we can do is always be looking to be positive, be proactive in terms of looking at the next thing, understanding that we can we have to do things that we can control, and that's obviously down to a lot of the testing and split testing. So the average order value, again, that sort of dipped, and I saw that really is the fact that people weren't necessarily going for the order bumps as much, weren't necessarily going for the upsells as well. So overall, yes, despite that increase in the ad spend, the sales only went up a small amount, and the back-end sales stayed pretty similar. So we would have hoped that the second half of the month, this profit figure would have been ahead of the first 2 weeks, but in fact, actually, it slipped behind by about $500. So that's what happened there. In terms of the lifetime value side, our customer numbers went up. Our lifetime value only went up on average per customer by $1. So we still obviously need to do more in terms of the back end side of things to try and increase that. And so I'll be looking at ways we can do it. So if we looked at what we tested over the course of the month on trying to reduce that CPA, I ran some new sort of split tests. I did that updated carousel ad. The first carousel ad had started to work well, but I thought we'd do a newer version with slightly different imagery to see if that worked. And actually, as with many of these things, the actual original one performed better. And because they're all in the same ad set, Facebook is using that AI to understand which ads to put in front of people. So the ad still stays in that ad set. There's plenty of creative in there, which is really good because that's just being rotated around. So a few weeks one image might do really well, and then a couple of weeks later a different image will work well. So it's good to have plenty of creative in there. So then I did a split test on the offer page, the main offer on the Riffs funnel, with that James Capel inspired 1927 version of the copy. That split test we ran for quite some time, and actually it was a very, very close run thing, although my control still held up there slightly ahead. So what we've done is moved that page, because it's a different version of the offer, converts at a similar level, but I've moved it into the cart abandon sequence, so it gives people a different thing to see the offer represented in a slightly different way. So that's that good with that. Then we did split tests on the organic opt-ins from the traffic from my blog and YouTube to see if we could just increase that conversion rate in free traffic. Again, close run thing. The new versions are slightly ahead of the controls here, but I'm just going to let that run certainly for the rest of this month, and then we'll take a look at it. But I guess the main thing that really changed in this month was starting this brand new second funnel, which is targeting a different segment of that guitar player audience, as in the complete beginner. And that's something that obviously now it's the offer's proven to a certain extent in terms of it's getting sales and getting conversions. It's not yet running at a profit, so there's things to be done. So I think through November we're going to push it and see what we can do with it at the same time as the other funnel. But equally also keep an open mind if we find that we can't open up that margins and really find it struggle in a few weeks' time to see any progress on it, then it may throw into question whether I continue with it. But at the moment, it is generating sales, so I think there's scope for it there. So sorry, where am I back to? So this is what I obviously that was an awful lot of data on that spreadsheet, so I've simplified it basically down to these are the total numbers. I say that's the numbers for October. That $8,000 just short in profit is not bad at all, so I'm not going to complain about it. But obviously we're always keen to understand how we can grow and drive these things more. So this is this simple comparison of September to October, and where we saw the main sort of changes in dip between September being a couple of thousand ahead almost in sales compared to October. A lot of it was in this upsells, and I said it just can be down to the Facebook ads not getting the ads quite in front of the same quality of buyer. So maybe some people who just spend less money, so they'll buy the initial offer but not interested in any of the upsell side of things, and so that is very reflective of these three numbers here, is the fact of right from the start they're just not as higher value or as good a quality maybe traffic as had happened back in September. But that's things that are just going to fluctuate. Everything else was pretty much the same. Our back-end offers were up a bit, which did help things. So as I say, we can get a sense of things that we're doing, things that we're going to continue to do. But some of the things, the broader view of fluctuations in traffic that I've seen, where for a week or two, it seems like the revenue's down and the profit's down, but then they do bounce back up again. So it's always about taking a longer term view. So as we progress into November, here's basically what the plan is looking like. So we've got two funnels working now. So we've got this first song funnel. So what I'm going to do is, first off, is add the upsell to that funnel, because there isn't one at the moment. I'm also going to look at increasing the ads budget a bit, and also increasing the creatives a little bit. I probably want to put a carousel ad in there because I know the riffs one's done well, so I want to test a carousel ad in there. And of course, I also need to push the budget a little bit because I need to get these conversions up to see if I can get it out of this learning phase. Because one of the things I have sort of seen is the fact of, let me close this, is the CPA number. Now I don't know what period of that. Oh, that's just yesterday. Maybe if we looked at it over the last 7 days. You can see it's costing like twice the amount of money that cost per thousand impressions. It's costing me twice as much to market this your first song funnel, and I think some of that might be down to the fact that this campaign is still stuck in the learning phase, and so it isn't really been optimized. And so I can't get this number down, because obviously I think if I could get that number down to these sort of figures, I would be able to get more conversions and it would swing into profit. Because you can see, by comparison, the click-through numbers are good on this campaign. So I say if I could get this CPM number down, I think we would be in good shape. And one of the things I'm going to do as well is I'm going to talk a bit more about this, probably not till next week, because I'm going to be traveling away for about 5 days, latter part of this week, but probably into next week, and that is doing top of funnel video ads. So that's really all about just getting some engagement level at the very top of the funnel, using just video engagement as an objective rather than sales, and then do a test on retargeting people based on that engagement. But I'll go into the detail of that campaign when we get to it. So that's that. On the riffs funnel, I'm looking to increase the average order value, because I'm looking to position the offer very slightly different. I'm looking to test out a slightly increased offer price as well, with a different package. But again, we'll see if I manage to get onto that this week. Hopefully we'll probably on Wednesday. And then really for both funnels, back end of this month, obviously with Black Friday, I'll probably just run a very simple email promotion to my existing contacts, rather than do any different campaigns or anything like that. Just do an email promotion for a couple of days and just see if we can get a little bit of bump in terms of revenue and lifetime value from my existing list. So really that's the overall picture of where things are at. It's overall, I'd say it's a pretty good picture. There's lots of cause for optimism in it, but as usual, plenty of work to be done. Anyway, that's all for today, so I'll catch up with you again tomorrow. Let's see where we are, and let's see if we can start putting some of these plans into action. Okay, thanks a lot, and bye for now.